This whole, hey, look at me, I'm at my laptop and I'm gonna grind away for 6 hours. Like no one wants to see that on Instagram. No one wants to see that on social media. It's boring. They wanna see you driving the Bugatti with a cigar in your mouth and a beautiful girl next to you. But that doesn't come without sitting at that desk for a good while first.
You lose nothing from no. You only stand something to gain from yeses. And one yes can change your entire life. And so if you're willing to be rejected and see the rejections as you learning, meaning you win, and see the yeses as you also winning, then you can't lose. And everybody else around you who's poor is going to convince you otherwise.
You know what I would say is the most destructive feeling to be obsessed with trying to obtain?
What?
Happiness.
Yeah.
If you are constantly, as a man, trying to chase happiness, that is the most destructive thing you can do for your life. Because you can't delay gratification. You can't do anything which is particularly difficult. And the only thing that's gonna make you happy quick is cheap happiness. Cheap and easy. Booze, cake, drugs, dumb shit. Real happiness, real contentment, and pride takes a long time to build. You have to be able to be unhappy or less happy for a long period of time to have a greater reward at the end.
You're not willing to sacrifice a couple Saturday nights pizza, and then they wonder why they're not getting bigger, why they're not getting stronger. And then they're scrolling, seeing people who are committed, who are doing everything in their power to be the best of their ability and coming, oh, steroids. Ask yourself, am I doing what it takes?
I think that everybody should have a self-projection. You have to imagine how you see yourself. And if you see yourself as a superhero and an extremely disciplined and hardworking person who achieves everything he's ever wanted in life and does amazing things, you have to understand that you're not going to be able to do that on drugs. So you need to have a mental projection in your mind of who you think you can be and who you want to be. And if that person's a drug addict, then go be a drug addict. But if that person is an extremely successful, extremely hardworking, extremely intelligent, extremely respected individual, he's probably not going to be doing drugs.
Be in shape is the #1 fashion advice I give to anyone. It's the old Versace t-shirt, on a big fat guy versus just a plain $5 t-shirt on a guy who's in decent shape. That's my advice to young men. Be in good shape and buy clothes that fit you. That overrules absolutely every single fashion rule that anyone could give.
People deal with things in many different ways, that is true. But in my experience of life, there's only one way to deal with anything. It doesn't matter if you're heartbroken, it doesn't matter if you're sad, it doesn't matter if your bank balance is low, it doesn't matter if you lose a family member, it doesn't matter if whatever negative things can happen to you, the answer to everything is always the same. Do you know what that answer is?
What is the answer?
Hard work. Work harder. The worse things are, the harder I will work. I could sit around and complain about being tired. I could sit around and be a bitch. I could sit around and cry. Or I could just work harder than I've ever worked. So my point is, the answer is always hard work. What else is my answer going to be? I'm struggling with something, I'm going to work less. Does that make sense to you? How's that going to fix anything?
You have to figure out what you want. And then you have to figure out how to decompose what you want into actionable steps. That's a pretty good deal, all things considered. And you can start stupid and slow. Like I said, just throw some things in that you're pretty likely to do and fill in the schedule with broad strokes. And then as you get familiar with it and comfortable with it and maybe even happy with it, you can fill in the details and start to use it in a more sophisticated way.
If you don't prioritize happiness and you prioritize feeling proud of yourself, you end up happy by extension. I'm happy because I'm proud of myself because I have a fucking fantastic life and mansions and supercars and money. Of course I'm happy, but I didn't ever choose to try and be happy. If I would have chosen to try and be happy, I would have never ended up happy.
What the hell are we all waiting for to start attacking life? Waiting for the stars to align? Back when I was growing up, the sun came out. All I need is a miracle. Well, guess what? That miracle ain't coming. There is no perfect time to start. You gotta start now with changing your life. We're all being tested in life. And guess what? This is one test you can't cheat on.